When I came out of retreat about 2 years ago, I found I had to learn some new terminology. It's like that, language changes over the years. So anyway, there's these new terms, like internet trolls, and haters, and shitposters. And of course at first I didn't know what these things meant. In fact, I thought it was quite funny. I wondered what on earth a troll could be. Now I'm pretty clear on what these things mean. There are some very unhappy and small-minded people, and they try to make themselves feel better by upsetting others. Of course, this isn't going to lead to happiness. It's only going to lead to more negativity. But I understand. I mean, in the world, there's lots of people like that. They don't feel good about themselves, and so they got to try and make other people's lives miserable. But what does surprise me is that there is such a thing as a non-dual troll, or a non-dual hater, or a non-dual shitposter. And I find that quite amazing. Because basically, if you're a spiritual practitioner, then what you should be trying to do is to develop spiritual qualities. And principal among these are the qualities of humility and compassion. And of course, if you're going around just trying to upset other people, this is the exact opposite of humility and compassion. But I understand you're doing it because you're not happy. In general, that's why we cause trouble for others, because we're not happy with ourselves. Our minds are not able to rest. A spiritual practitioner is someone who becomes very open-minded and can easily accept the opinions of others and doesn't get angry very easily, doesn't hold resentment in their heart. Now, I've never claimed to have spiritual qualities. I don't claim to be humble or to have genuine compassion, the sort of compassion that a bodhisattva has. But I do have faith and belief in the teachings of the Buddha. And not only that, I believe that these methods alleviate suffering. And so, of course, it's something that I see to be important, and it's something that I try to propagate. I mean, I spent 12 years in retreat studying and practicing, and I feel I should try to do something with that, to try to share a little bit of what I know, in the hope that it might benefit others. Now, here's why it seems so strange to me that there's such a thing as a spiritual troll or a non-dual troll. People who are apparently on the spiritual path who go around trying to upset people on the internet. It surprises me because for someone who has realized non-duality, then it is 100% certain that they have overcome all of their negative emotions, their kleshas. And why do I say that? Well, of all the negative emotions or the mind poisons, the very root is what is called fundamental ignorance. And fundamental ignorance is none other than an inherent or intrinsic belief in duality. And so if you haven't got this belief in duality, then there's no way to give rise to the mind poisons. Because this belief in duality, this fundamental ignorance, is the very cause of the negative emotions. Famously, it is taught that once a student asked Padampa Sanjay, "Is it possible for someone who has realized emptiness to still engage in negative acts?" And Padampa Sanjay replied, "No, it is not possible." And that is because with the realization of emptiness, along with that comes true compassion. That's authentic compassion, or non-referential compassion. And someone who has this compassion isn't capable of doing wrong. We only engage in negativity because we lack this most sublime and ultimate form of compassion. I mean, it's possible that some of these people aren't spiritual practitioners. They're just looking to cause trouble, and so they show up on spiritual channels. But if you do consider yourself a spiritual practitioner, and you're going around trolling people or shitposting, then you should consider this. It is quite likely that you've completely misunderstood the spiritual path. Either that, or you've fallen in with a bad crowd. You're relying on a negative teacher. For example, there's the story of Angulimala. His teacher told him that if he killed 100 people, he would gain entrance into heaven. There are negative spiritual traditions, but thankfully they're quite rare. But if it isn't the case that you've been led astray, then it is 100% certain that you've misunderstood the spiritual path. As it is taught, the very foundation of all spiritual practice is altruism, the wish for others to achieve happiness and well-being. But sadly these days, there's a great increase in negativity in the world. And rather than propagating the teachings of love and compassion, then everyone is doing their best to spread hatred and division, to sow the seeds of fear and anxiety in others. When the Buddha taught that karma makes the world, then what he was trying to tell us was that it is on the basis of our own negative emotions that we bring suffering into this world. And I don't understand that people can't see that anger and resentment are negative things. Not only do they make things difficult for others, but this anger and resentment also makes oneself suffer. Because where the mind is afflicted with resentment and anger, there is no peace. And it is my wish that you should achieve this peace. Peace and tranquility, and the freedom from the afflictive emotions that torment us. That you should progress swiftly on the spiritual path towards final awakening and liberation from samsara. So that's about all I wanted to say this evening. And until next time, then see you later.